Alright, Shalom. First and foremost, before I get started, I'm going to give all glory and honor to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders at Great Millstone who teach and rule well, and peace and salutations to the elect out there feeding the sheep of Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai with sincerity and truth. I'm their brother Barak, and Lord willing, this will be another edifying lesson. And the title of this lesson will be something along the lines of, the Lord, he can fuck this place up real quickly, right? And this is one of the ways the Lord is going to fuck this place up, right? With famines, right? So, this is the book of Matthew 24:7. It says, "For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines and pestilences and earthquakes in diverse places." And as you can see all these locusts, man. These locusts, they basically could literally swarm through a field of crops and absolutely destroy it. And that's one of the tools Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai could absolutely use to really fuck shit up, right? And you know how Esau is. The Lord could literally put the spirit on Esau to create an insect or some biological, like insect, or even like a artificial insect, right? Because they show that in the movies, right? They show that in the TV shows, and they basically showed that in like the TV shows like Black Mirror, right? They basically had a bunch of artificial insects, and they're basically taking over basically entire lands, right? Entire land masses. And basically, man, this is all through the Lord, man. But this is one of the things that the Lord could basically use to as a judgment, right? You got millions and millions of insects, these locusts, these different types of bugs. And I'm gonna put up another example. And this example is actually about 10 minutes away from one of the places that I live, right? And it says Florida's orange trees are being devastated by citrus greening disease, right? And it's a bacteria spread by Asian citrus bug. Basically, if you go like certain areas in Florida, there used to be fields of like oranges, just tons of oranges, man, tons of them. And not that long ago, literally, you can see all of them are basically gone now. They're all basically just dead trees. Before they used to be full of oranges, and now basically all it takes is one certain insect to basically fucking destroy all of them. There's literally bugs that can literally destroy millions of crops, and I'm just speaking about one crop, right? So imagine when what Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai can do, right? When he wants to create a famine, pestilence, right? And on top of that, you have there's gonna be there's gonna be food shortage, supply chain issues, right? There's gonna be your food importing, exporting issues. All of that's gonna create an environment for basically people to basically starve. On top of that, you're gonna have that RFID microchip, aka the mark of the beast, being implemented. Right, so Esau Edom, aka the so-called white man, right, which is the devil that the Bible speaks of. It's basically he's basically going to use that RFID microchip as like an intimidation tactic to force people, to basically starve people out, right? And unless they buy that, unless they take that chip, or that mark of the beast, right? Most of these people, they're gonna basically not eat, not starve. They're not gonna be able to eat, right? He's gonna try to starve them to death, right? But the thing is, the scriptures talk about it. Well, the Lord's men, the Lord, he's gonna provide for his men, right? As long as we don't take that RFID microchip, right? This is the book of Isaiah 65:13. It says, "Therefore, this is what Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai says: My servants will eat, but you will go hungry. My servants will drink, but you will go thirsty. But my servants will rejoice, but you will be put to shame." Right? So these people in the world, right, that didn't hearken unto the scriptures, right, that weren't doing the work of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, that didn't hearken onto the words of the prophets, right? Didn't take heed to the warning. What these people are gonna, most of these people, man, they're gonna fucking starve. They're gonna starve, man. They're gonna starve to death. A lot of them are gonna take that chip, right? Yeah, they're gonna take that mark of the beast. There's not gonna be any food for them to pick out on the streets. Ain't gonna be no goddamn oranges. Ain't gonna be no potatoes. You'd be lucky to find a fucking packet of ketchup on the floor. When that day happens. That's how little, man, food there will actually be. The Lord, his eyes are 10,000 times brighter than the sun, right? So he's gonna make sure that if someone's gonna starve, he's gonna make sure that person's gonna fucking starve, if that's their judgment. Because a lot of these people, that's gonna be their judgment, man. The Lord, he's saving their judgment for the very end, right? The book of 2 Peter 2:9, it says, and it's the NIV version, it says, if this is so, then the Lord knows how to rescue the godly from trials and to hold the unrighteous for punishment on the day of judgment, right? So the Lord, he's reserving the judgment for these wicked ass people, right? He's saving their day of judgment for a later time period where, it could, and the thing is, the Lord, Yahweh Bashem Yahshai, he could literally cause these people to, during Jacob's trouble, right? When all hell breaks loose, he can cause these people to go days without eating, man. And they will starve to death so badly that, even if they survive, then a nuclear missile just fucking hits them, man. A nuclear missile will just fucking hit them, right? And that nuclear missile, the Lord can make it so time slows down for them where they're really feeling the burning sensations of that nuclear missile, and it's just a slow and painful death, right? Because that's one of the worst ways somebody could die is, they get starved to death. You know what I'm saying? People literally starve to death, man. Their body just eats itself, right? Basically there's nothing left on their body. No fat storages, no carbohydrate. No carbohydrate storages, no protein on their body. None of that fucking bullshit. None of that shit. Not even a fucking can of Chef Boyardee, they're gonna be able to find, man. That they're gonna try to eat their own bodies, man. That's how bad it's gonna be, man. And that's the great thing, because the Lord is, that's some of the ways that the Lord can reserve judgment for these wicked ass people. No, I'm going to bring this out. Fair use.
And set. But malaria, even the million deaths a year caused by malaria, greatly understate its impact. Over 200 million people at any one time are suffering from it. It means that you can't get the economies in these areas going because it holds things back so much. Now, malaria is, of course, transmitted by mosquitoes. I brought some here so you could experience this. We'll let those roam around the auditorium a little bit. There. There's no reason only poor people should have the experience. Those mosquitoes are not.
And you see these devils, but they tell you what they're going to do beforehand, right? And they do that called through something called the revelation of the method, right? Where they reveal something prior, and then at a later time period they actually do it. But they might do it in a joking way. They might do it, they might say something, that might sound sarcastic, but they're actually revealing their intentions, right? And as you can see, Bill Gates, he's uploading videos, right? This one's titled "It's Mosquito Week," right? What the fuck do you think this devil's trying to tell people, man? This devil is basically he's obsessed with mosquitoes. He's obsessed with certain types of diseases, right? Viruses, because this devil basically he's known for making these things, right? He's known for developing these things, right? And then basically coming out with almost cure solutions, right? this devil, basically, what did he do? He started off creating computer viruses, right? Then selling the antivirus software, right? Now you got this devil. He's creating so-called viruses, and he's selling you the juices, right? The V space vaccine, the vaccine, right? So these devils, man, they're very used to creating artificial events, right? And that's ultimately through the spirit of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. He's gonna allow he can use these people, right, to he can use these people to basically fulfill his prophecy, right? This is the book of 2 Corinthians 13 and 8. And it says, "For we cannot do anything against the truth, but only for the truth." Right? The Lord can literally use these people, right, to fulfill his prophecies, right? Because that's just the way things were set up, right? What the scriptures talk about, the king's heart is in the hand of the Lord, right? So these wicked ass elites, these devils, right? The Lord can put the spirit on them to literally, start releasing mosquitoes in the public, right? The Lord can put the spirit on these insects to breed, and then he can send them to America, right? The Lord could, whatever the Lord has in store, right? To fuck up America, Babylon the Great, right? When he's gonna send those famines, plagues, right? And ultimately those nuclear missiles, the Lord, he's gonna control everything, right? That's all in the hands of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. This book of Ecclesiasticus 39 and 28. And it says, "There be spirits that are created for vengeance, which in their fury lay on sore strokes in the time of destruction. They pour out their force and appease the wrath of him that made them." Right? Fire and hail and famine and death. All these were created for vengeance. Teeth of wild beasts and scorpions, serpents, and the sword punishing the wicked to destruction. Right? They shall rejoice in his commandment, and they shall be ready upon earth when need is, and when their time is come. They shall not transgress his word. Right? So the Lord, he created these things, these locusts, these different insects, right? Even if it's one of these artificial things, Lord, all these things were made from Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, to where the Lord, he's gonna he's gonna use these to literally destroy this for judgment, right? He's gonna use it to destroy people. It's all gonna be play a part in prophecy, right? Even if it's some GMO Bill Gates mosquito, right? It can be one of these, it can be even these tigers in the zoos, right? These lions, gorillas, right? You're gonna see a lot of those things wandering the streets too. When all hell breaks loose, right? The Lord's gonna put the spirit on these animals to go out and literally fucking kill people. But that's a whole other topic for a different lesson, right? But anyway, I just want to make this short. Lord willing, this was edifying. I'm going to give all glory and honor to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Rakak Wadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders at the great millstone who teach and rule well. And peace and salutations to elect out there feeding the sheep of Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai with sincerity and truth. Shalom.